On this edition of Tech Trends, we look at why you should uninstall QuickTime Media Player. On the interview segment, I'll be chatting with guests on ways Nigeria can grow her ICT industry, drawing experiences from Germany. And finally, we have a cool gift for you on our giveaway segment. This is Tech Trends, and I am Chukwuemeka Agbata.
One of the world's leading trade fair for industrial technology, Hannover Messe, opened in the port city of Hanover, Germany, with robots being in the spotlight. Among the robots exhibited is an industrial robot named Anna. It is mostly used to check the quality of a finished product at the terminal of a production chain in factories. It can decide whether the product is qualified or not using 3D sensors on its arms and the recognition camera on its face. The designer said that they plan to add facial recognition functions to realize communication and interaction between the robot and human beings. Another exhibitor introduced a robot that can play table tennis with people. According to the designer, the robot can estimate the direction of the ball movement and respond immediately with the help of its special vision sensors and hundreds of sensors on the table.
There is so many automation inside the robot that he is learning how you play. So if you are playing fast, the robot will do the same. So he's learning all the time what you are doing. And he is showing also on the table where he wants to play.
Knapp said the role of robots is to help people. He believes that Industry 4.0 will bring human beings an integrated, intelligent and interactive automation age.
A robot we are using for, I would say, 30 years in factories. But now it's going in a different or in the next step, which means human beings and robots are working together more and more. And we think, or not only we, I think the most of us think, that in the future a complete new factory, complete integrated, will have also human beings and robots which are very, very, very close together.
The trade show has a history of 69 years, 6,000 exhibitors participating, and 200,000 visitors expected at the Tech Trade Show. SpaceX plans to send an unmanned Dragon spacecraft to Mars as early as 2018, a first step in achieving founder Elon Musk's goal to fly people to another planet. The program, known as Red Dragon, is intended to develop the technologies needed for human transportation to Mars, a long-term goal for Musk's privately held Space Exploration Technologies, as well as the U.S. Space Agency, NASA. The company said it will provide details of its Mars program at the International Astronautical Congress in September. Musk started SpaceX, as the company is known, in 2002 with the goal of slashing launch costs to make Mars travel affordable. SpaceX was hired by U.S. Space Agency, NASA, to fly cargo to the station following the retirement of the space shuttles in 2011, a journey completed multiple times by Dragon spacecraft. SpaceX intends to debut its Mars rocket, a heavy-lift version of the Falcon 9 booster, currently flying before the end of the year. Apple Incorporated posted its first ever decline in iPhone sales and first revenue drop in more than a decade as the company, credited with inventing the smartphone, struggles with an increasingly saturated market. The company's sales dropped by more than a quarter in China, its most important market after the United States, and it also forecast another disappointing quarter for global revenues. Apple said it sold 51.2 million iPhones in its second fiscal quarter, down from 61.2 million in the same quarter a year ago, but above analysts' estimates of about 50 million devices.
It looks to me like several issues coming together at the same time, right? One is market saturation. More and more people have a smartphone, although it would seem there's still plenty of room to run among affluent buyers in emerging markets. And Europe, if they could convert more of those Android buyers, would seem like an opportunity as well. So they seem to have slowed down on their ability to convert people. What's hard to tell is whether we're also seeing people keep their phones longer. So when you start unpacking the factors, market saturation, competition from low-cost phones, and then this question of whether people are keeping their phones longer, it's hard to, I don't think you can say that there's one clear factor, but clearly the dynamics are changing in terms of the volume that they're going to sell every quarter.
While Apple executives had predicted iPhone sales would decline this quarter, they must reassure investors that the drop represents a momentary roadblock rather than a permanent shift for the product that fueled its meteoric rise. The company is yet to present another device that can drive sales on that order, though last year it released the Apple Watch, its first new product without legendary co-founder Steve Jobs at the helm.
It doesn't look like there is anything that would drive significant growth for Apple from here as they've been behaving. Now, if they came out with a breakthrough product or price, then you might see a change, particularly if it's different than the other smartphone makers in this market. But absent that kind of innovation in price or features, I think we're in a much more gradual and uncertain market.
Rather than buying the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus, many consumers are waiting for the release of the expected iPhone 7 later this year to upgrade their phones, according to analysts.
The SE, to me would provide a minor bump. You could argue that some of the slowdown we're seeing is from people waiting because they didn't want to upgrade from their small phones. So that's one of the uncertainties that I would point to and say, hey, you can't be sure whether in fact it'll beat or be below previous quarters and year-over-year sales. But it's not going to change the fundamental dynamic of a dampening growth curve.
After years of blockbuster sales, many investors fear the iPhone has reached saturation, spelling the end for Apple's exponential growth.